Hey, what's up everybody? Jake here and welcome to the hobby. I'm here with my good friend Roboskillz.
Hey, what's up everyone?
So there's been a lot of crazy stuff happening in the hobby and sometimes it's not as fun to really just talk to myself really. And I know I bounced a lot of ideas off other commentators, but I think it'd be a great idea to bring in another collector. So Robo, you have been collecting cards for a long time. You have a really big following on TikTok, which is kind of a different community from YouTube. You have a big YouTube channel, actually. You just passed 100K subscribers.
Yes,
so congratulations.
I did. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, so we've been collecting cards for a long time, and I wanted some of your opinions because the alt art market for modern Pokemon cards have been climbing ridiculous prices recently. Have you seen them?
Yes, yeah. Sword and Shield is going crazy right now.
Yeah, very specifically just Sword and Shield too. It's interesting because Scarlet and Violet's not seeing a jump. Vintage cards aren't really seeing a jump.
Right.
Sun and Moon era is not really seeing a jump. It's just Sword and Shield, which is kind of interesting because it's that sweet spot where the sets are between 3 to 5 years old.
I do think that's mainly just because, you know, the boom of 2020, a lot of new people were entering the hobby, a lot of collectors getting reinvigorated during the Sword and Shield era. So there's just, I think, like on a wider scale, more people kind of more invested in Sword and Shield era cards, and you know, alt arts were a big part of what carried a lot of the sets.
All right, so I got some really juicy topics I want to talk about. So what's been big that's happening right now in the hobby is that over the past couple of weeks, people are dubbing the new Sword and Shield Big 5 cards. There's 5 cards that have made the largest jump in terms of value over all other cards. So these are known as the Big 5 right now.
The Big Five, this top 5 cards from Sword and Shield that have just like jumped in the past couple weeks?
Yes, they're all alt art cards. You think you can name all 5? Do you know what they are?
I'm gonna try. I think maybe.
Okay,
I definitely know. The first one's got to be the Umbreon.
Yeah. So that's the big one.
Umbreon VMAX from Evolving Skies.
Yep.
And I guess also the Rayquaza VMAX.
Also from Evolving Skies. Yes.
Evolving Skies.
It's part of the 5.
I'm trying to think. I do feel just at a base level, almost all alt arts from Sword and Shield era have crept up.
So a lot of the alt art cards have climbed a lot.
Yes.
Some of them that used to be $50 are now $100. There's $100 cards that are new $200 cards.
Yep.
So these Big 5 cards, they're all at least $400 to $500, I would say, on the cheaper end. So
wow. Okay. Let me. All right.
So we got 2.
There's. All right. Top 5. We can do this, guys. Umbreon VMAX, Rayquaza VMAX, the Giratina.
The Giratina V from Lost Origin.
From Lost Origin.
Yep,
the alt art Giratina V. That's got to be it. I'm trying to think of the other 2. What would be?
I'll give you a hint. One's from Fusion Strike.
Ah, yes, the Gengar VMAX.
Yeah, I like the Espeon VMAX. I thought that would be the top hitter from Fusion Strike. The Mew is also really good. The Mew VMAX.
Yeah, which is why I think Fusion Strike will be a really great like long-term set. I think the value in it is there, and I feel like a lot of people didn't really give Fusion Strike like packs. I mean, they're still relatively cheap.
So the Gengar VMAX only really jumped ahead of all the other Fusion Strike cards over the past couple months. It was definitely more expensive, but right now it's leagues and heads above all the other Fusion Strike cards.
People love Gengar.
It is a really cool art. I did an art tier list of all the alt art cards from Sword and Shield.
Did you put that at S tier?
It was an S tier.
I would put, you know what? I would think, you know, we don't have to go through your whole list again because I'm sure you have a YouTube video on that, but I would have put Gengar in the S tier, the Giratina in the S tier, the Umbreon.
I had to put that in S tier. I almost want to put it in A tier.
I could honestly, it's not like so crazy, but it's so popular and it's become like the I don't know, the Charizard or the card of that whole block. So you got to put it in S tier, but
they strong arm me into it.
It's you know, it's an A to S tier.
All right.
Yeah.
So we're getting off topic. You named 4 of the Big 5. You're missing 1.
Man, and this is in the Sword and Shield block.
Yep. There's some big heavy hitters that have gone up in value.
Like the Lugia V alt art, I know.
That one, a lot of the commenters actually said Lugia
it's a
V
beautiful card.
It's going for between $100 to $200, but this card is going for between $400 to $500. I'll give you a hint.
Another alt art. That's
it's in Chilling Rain.
And it's going for more than the Lugia alt art.
Yes. This one crept up quite a bit. And I'm actually surprised by it.
I would have said the Charizard V alt art from Brilliant Stars. But, I mean, okay, Chilling Rain.
The most expensive one?
Yeah. Well, you have the birds and...
Yeah.
I guess the Blaziken V... Is the Blaziken VMAX alt art?
Yeah, so the Blaziken VMAX...
He's huge and he's teaching karate to the guys on the
ceiling. So that
ceiling.
one now is going for like $400 to $500 in like an ungraded copy.
That is crazy.
I didn't see that one coming either.
I remember picking up that alt art in a PSA 10 for $120.
Okay, funny that you brought that up because I want to ask you, how many of the big fives that do you have? Because I didn't tell my viewers how many of them I have. I don't have all of the big five, by the way. So I wanted to know what you have.
You know, we talk about like the pop reports and like, are these prices deserving of these alt arts? And it is crazy because it's like, I know the pop reports for these cards are insane.
Yep.
But I don't have all five.
Yep. All right. So you name them.
I feel like I'm a pretty big collector. We have the Umbreon.
Okay, you have the Umbreon.
VMAX alt art.
Did you pull it or did you buy it?
We pulled it.
Okay, that's crazy because
we pulled it.
If I pulled an Umbreon VMAX, I would have one. So I don't have that.
Right. Okay. Did you open up a lot of Evolving Skies?
I opened up a lot of Evolving Skies,
We opened up a lot of Evolving Skies.
It was definitely Evolving Cries for a while.
It was. We have the Blaziken.
Okay, yeah.
I just told that story though. I did not pull that. I bought that graded because it was so cheap.
Yeah,
$120.
it's cool. It's cool.
It's cool. Yeah, I was like,
I like the art.
I think it's worth $120.
Yeah.
And then I also have the Rayquaza VMAX alt art. I do not have the alt art Giratina V because we never pulled it.
Yep.
And I don't have the Gengar because I never pulled that.
All right. So funny you think you said that because that's the exact same thing I have. All right. So I have two of the big five.
Oh, okay.
I have two of the big fives. I have the Gengar VMAX.
Yeah.
Because I bought it. I bought it because I just wanted it, so I had to get it. I
should have bought one.
Yeah. So I have one of those, and I have myself the Blaziken VMAX because I pulled it.
Okay.
So that's the reason why I have the Blaziken VMAX is because I pulled it. I don't have an Umbreon VMAX. I don't have a Rayquaza VMAX. I don't have a Giratina because I never pulled them from Lost Origin or Revolving Skies.
Yeah.
And that's most of us.
You know what? I pulled the Giratina for someone on my stream.
Yeah.
And then I've pulled the Gengar for like 2 or 3 people in my stream.
I think that's super
never for myself.
Yeah. So I've also pulled some really cool cards from these sets. So I think it's really interesting that we talk about these cards all the time, and sometimes people think like, oh, I have all of the cards. Of course, I'm going to talk about the Umbreon VMAX, but I don't care if it goes up or down. I don't even think the art is S tier. The community strong-armed it into me putting into S tier.
I mean, it's a cool looking card, and it is. I mean, it's rare. It's such a high. I mean, I know there's a ton of PSA.
Yeah, 10s. So I actually know the number.
What's the pop report?
So right now, because I just did the video on it, we have 11,000 PSA 10 Umbreon.
That's so.
Gem Mint.
That's so much. That's so many.
Yeah, and the commenters would say like there's more than 11,000 people that want the card, so it can only go up. And that's the idea is that we know the supply.
Right.
So the supply is a tangible number we can see, but it's hard to gauge demand.
It has strong demand, but I feel like a lot of demand can be artificial or just kind of like a hype that when the hype dies down, was it really something that someone wanted, or they just wanted the card because they thought it would go higher? And then they'll sell it when it's higher and they don't really want it.
Funny you brought that up because we're definitely going to talk about that, but I also wanted to ask you, all right, just for your prediction, in 3 months' time, you're a collector. I've already told my viewers what I think. In 3 months' time, do you think the alt art cards are going to be more expensive or less? We're not talking about 5 years because in 5 years, obviously, they'll probably be more expensive.
I have thoughts on this. Yeah. And you know what? We could probably talk about this for a good 15, 20 minutes.
Sure.
I think some people have an answer for this, but if you really think about it, and if you've been collecting for a while, you got to consider all factors, right? My answer to that question would be, I think in 3 months, honestly, there's a little price pullback.
Yeah.
It starts to come down a little bit. Because whenever something is really hot and there's a lot of hype around it, you see the price going up, and when prices are going up, that's not the time to buy. But people go, oh, well, I don't want to miss out. There's the FOMO, right?
Yeah, there's definitely that.
And also, people have already made YouTube videos on this, and I think TCG Player also kind of put out an official statement how they noticed on TCG Player a lot of buyouts for some of these alt arts.
Yep.
And whether that's artificial sort of market manipulation or just someone that has a lot of money was like, I feel like this card's severely undervalued. I want to just buy all these. What it's going to do is it's going to create kind of like this artificial sense of low demand. But, when the price of these PSA 10s or just the raw cards goes up to a certain amount where people that have pulled them or, a lot of people still have sealed product for a lot of these sets where these cards come out of.
These guys still.
Then that means supply is still strong, and people, when they see the price that they could sell this card for, they'll be like, it's time to put mine up on the market. But when you have not just one person doing that, but 1,000, 3,000, 5,000 people doing that, suddenly the market gets flooded. Price is going to come down because now you got to compete on price.
So your opinion is 3 months from now, you think cheaper or more expensive? Cheaper or more expensive? Let's just say that.
I think this stuff will be cheaper than it is now.
Okay, interesting. So that's the exact same thing I said in my last video, is that I also thought it was going to be cheaper.
Yeah.
So we'll see. If prices are more expensive, let us know how wrong we were. We're terrible collectors. We know nothing about the market at all. We're just two guys, two dudes.
It'll be cheaper. And if it's not cheaper, if it's more expensive, then it just needs another 3 months. It doesn't mean we were wrong. We need a little bit more time to be right.
Yeah, all right. Hey, a broken clock is right twice a day.
Yeah.
Let me know down in the comments, what do you guys think in 3 months? Higher or lower? What do you guys think for these cards? Do you think they'll be more expensive or cheaper? Let us know down in the comments. And thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate having you on today's video.
Yeah, of
we
course,
definitely got to do this more often.
Yes.
I think it's super cool to have someone else's opinion. Let me know what your guys' thoughts are, and we'll see you next time.
Yeah, see you next time.